Back onto where we're talking about as far as our actual objections. The other thing beside, of course, that it being what the seller is or buyer, your customer is supposed to do, the other thing is, quite honestly, when you're getting certain objections, depending upon what they are, I hate to hurt your feelings, but it really means at this particular point, you have not proven to that buyer or seller that they should do business with you. You haven't proven to them yet that they really should buy that house, or they really should list with you, or whatever the case may be. At that particular point, there is something that has been in your presentation that has not yet convinced them, but they're too nice to say that to you. They're not going to say to you, you know what, Elgin, you didn't go over anything that we planned on hearing tonight, and we don't like you, so we're going to talk to Ray Catallo as soon as you get out of here. They're not going to tell you that. Well, most of them won't. Every now and then you'll find somebody. But the majority of the time, they're going to come up with a reason why, et cetera, which is a nice way of telling you that you have not convinced them that you are worthy or that you have earned the right to represent them. And that's just a fact. Although that may hurt, that's the truth of the matter. And put your consumer hat on. How many times have you walked into, it be a retail store, it can be a clothing store. I mean, the other day I was shopping for tires for a car, and the person comes up and tells you something that you weren't really looking to hear, or they didn't convince you about whatever. Now, I still bought tires. I just didn't buy them from him. So now how many of you guys, with people that you have right now that you can go back into your database that bought or sold homes? They just didn't buy them or sell them from you. So are you mad at them, or are you the problem? I would tell you that just like they say, when you point your finger out, there's 4 more fingers pointing back at you, or is it 3? Pointing back at you. So who's the problem? Right? That means you got to get your skill set up. It just means you got to get your skill set up. Now, one of the things in doing that is, quote unquote, getting your skill set up is how you actually handle yourself upon the point of getting to the point of objections. Like, for instance, let's talk about, say, sellers, for instance. Now, this is a little real estate orientated, so again, for other services, utilize this to make it fit your sales profession. But let's say we're talking about a seller for us, and then for those of us that haven't been in business for a longer period of time or may have forgotten, how many of us, by show of hands, send out a pre-listing packet? Yeah, how many of us have even heard what a pre-listing packet is? Right? So let me ask you a question. You know that the seller is going to want to know the price. You know the seller is going to want to know the commission. You know the seller is going to want to know the services you provide. You know they're going to want to know all these things, right? So does it make a little bit more sense to provide the seller with that information up front? Isn't that some sort of maybe a pre-qualification where you provide the seller the information up front so that when you get to that seller's home, you're spending your time just discussing whatever the issue is? Does it make a little bit more sense for you to be able to walk in and say, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, were you able to look at my pre-listing packet? Well, yes, we did. That was great. Well, you know what? Instead of me sitting here spending a whole lot of time telling you how, I've been in the business 25 plus years and, a top producing agent, et cetera, this isn't about me, it's about you. So based upon the packet that I sent you, do you at least think I'm qualified at this particular point to help you sell your home? Well, yeah, Elgin, we think you're qualified for it. Great. I'd like to spend time right now focusing on the questions you have on my pre-listing packet and the issues that we have to help you get the most money possible in the least amount of time we can and get you able to move in the quickest amount of time. Is it okay if we focus on that versus me focus on the dog and pony show and tell you how great I am? Do you think your sellers, particularly in a day and now where everything's on the internet and they go through stuff, etc., by the time you get to the home, in the majority of cases, haven't they already at least kind of decided that they're possibly willing to do business with you? Versus you walking into the house completely cold, you have no idea that, you know that the house is worth $450. You have no idea the seller wants $600. You have no idea that they sold their last home would help you sell. No offense to help you sell if you're in the room. And you know that they're going to sell it for a little less expensive than what maybe you would offer as your commission rate? Wouldn't it be nice to know those things up front? I mean, if you're working with a buyer, let me ask you, how many of you guys, you get a call right now somebody calls you and they say, we're standing down in front of your listing at ABCYX Street, and can you come show it to us right now? How many people jump in the car and go show it to them? Nobody. Ooh, y'all lying. I'm gonna call somebody, and I bet you I'm gonna be standing in front of the house, and I'm gonna say, you know what, I'm thinking about paying this house for cash, and I just bought 3 other houses, and I'm sitting in front of your listing right now, and I just call listing agents only. Anybody heard that? I'll just call listing agents only, so can you come show me this house and we can write the deal up today? Now, how many of you going out to show it? Nobody? That's good. Now, when I see somebody out at the house, because you know I'll be driving by, I'm going to say, so you was lying in class. But the point of the matter is that you're right. You shouldn't. There's a pre-qualification process that you should go through. And if you go through that pre-qualification process with those potential buyers and you establish a certain expectation, realistically, do you have the opportunity to not have as many objections as you would when you first, when you get to the point. Okay.